Thank you so much, Rebecca, for the warm welcome. Yes, I do really enjoy my Chongwin milk coffee with some dark roast for the extra kick. Yeah, really glad to be here. And hello, everyone. I'm Hoang, currently a machine learning engineer at Snorkel AI. And today I will talk about how to fine-tune and customize large language models. Large language models, or generative AI, these terms has had an impact like no other technology in the past decade. With models released by OpenAI, the GPT series, GPT 3.5 and 4. From Meta, we have Llama, Llama 2. Google, we have Palm, Palm 2. Or the very well-supported ecosystem on Hugging Face, also on the cloud providers like Google, Microsoft, or AWS. These large language models have elevated AI discussion, changed the way that we think about AI technology, and also pushing the interest across the industry on what is possible using AI technology. These models are trained on everything on the internet. Every text corpus is publicly available on the internet, and they are capable of learning very complex concepts. These models can also be utilized in a variety of use cases. You can imagine assistant, chatbot, or even like classification or information extraction tasks. However, like these models, because they're trained externally, they're using like public available data set, they cannot always perform specialized tasks that your company requires. Like very company specific, domain specific task. Does this sound familiar? This is very similar to your employee. When you new hire, they have a general understanding of the world, of the problems, of the task. They can perform simple tasks without much guidance. However, you need to train your new employee to understand your company specific, like your data, your protocols, etc. And then you have them to refer to existing documents and information to perform meaningful projects with your company. This is very similar to the workflow we have with large language models. For a new hire, you can think about pre-trained large language models that is trained on the internet data. They have a general citation understanding of the world where they can recite and do a lot of like simple tasks. You can also imagine simple tasks like doing the few shot and zero shot capabilities on the simple task, where you can implement like prompting, where you can show them some few examples, chain of thoughts, where you show them like step by step. So they can perform these tasks without much guidance. However, in order to train them to understand your company's specific data, you need to fine-tune, similar to training your employee, you need to fine-tune large language models on your internal data. And then you need to have them refer to existing documents and information. This can be done by fine-tuning or retrieval augmented generation, which is kind of known as RAG. And in order to perform more meaningful projects or to reach deployment phase, you need to achieve these large language models need to be fine-tuned and then achieve the quality required for production. Also, they need to reduce like hallucination, biases, or compliance violations in order to like achieve your company protocol. So training, fine-tuning, your internal employee training that your employee has to go through when they first come in, or fine-tuning large language models. These two items, they both require high-quality training material data, or AKA as known as your curated data set, your labeled data set, and an employee, a models that can learn from your data. Given that the models are very well supported in the current ecosystem by Hugging Face or cloud providers, your data is the key to distinguishing factor between you and the industry. Your data should meet the following criteria: being high quality, like being well labeled, being representative across a task. If your task has like multiple components, like it needs to be done in a helpful, like supportive manners, then these are the terms that your data has to have all the quality of. So for details for effective data curation, please check out Chris, my colleague, Chris, talk on our Red Pajama use cases on data curation. This current presentation is focused around center about fine-tuning techniques. But your data is the key to distinguishing factors between your model and the industry model, the existing public data set, existing model. So now I will discuss how you can quickly build in custom AI using Snorkel Flow to fine-tune large language models. AI does not work out of the box for most enterprise applications. For the cases where you have generic data or in the prototyping use cases, AI works decently out of the box because they are trained on public data. However, for really domain-specific, custom, or if you want to reach production level, development is still required. These are some examples of the customers' personas that we work with. For example, one of the top 3 US banks, by using only the base model, we have a 45 score, and we're able to have a 38-point boost to 82 F1 accuracy in less than 1 hour of development inside Snorkel Flow. For a Fortune 500 pharma, or similarly for a Fortune 500 e-commerce company, where you have extraction task, we're able to boost from 66 to 88, which is a 22% 22 F1 score, or a 16 F1 score improvement by fine-tuning and with data developed inside Snorkel Flow. So you can see that we can quickly build high-quality custom AI solutions, specialized medical knowledge, or looking at the error slices and understanding your problems and fine-tune your models. These tasks bring your large language models from out of the box, from not achieving high-quality performance going to reaching the performance that your company actually needed. So this is the flow using Snorkel Flow plus large language models. First, you can access data models within Snorkel Flow. You can then, using all the off-the-shelf models, we can quickly evaluate the models. You can prompt, you can try zero, few shot, advanced prompting. All of these are very well supported inside Snorkel Flow. Then you can analyze errors, label more data, collaborate with internal expert inside Snorkel Flow. This, for me, is the most important task where you curate a really high-quality data set. You fix the errors that is shown by large language models. You collaborate with your subject matter expert and to deploy a new data set that is high-quality representative of your task. Then you can choose to fine-tune the models or using more parameter-efficient fine-tuning or distillation option. So all of these are well supported inside Snorkel Flow. However, for the purpose of this talk, I'll briefly touch through point 1 to 3, and then focusing on 4 and 5. So first, let's look about 1 and 2. You can easily access your data, upload it. We have connection with Snowflake, BigQuery, of S3, of the existing storage, or even your internal local environment. So then you can upload your data. You can evaluate and utilize a variety of models, whichever is available to you. Here we have some example screenshots of models from, for example, we have Flan-T5 from Google. We also have the Llama family. We have OpenAI and also the Vertex AI, which is the PaLM model, the PaLM 2. You can easily run through your models, giving some prompt, post-process, and then evaluate. So precision, recall, a lot of metrics that is well available inside Snorkel Flow. Next, after you see your data, you see the initial predictions by your large language models, you can analyze errors, label more data, and collaborate within Snorkel Flow. So when you see the error slices inside Snorkel Flow, you can see a variety of your data. There's a lot of well-supported tools analysis that is provided by Snorkel Flow. You can, you can fine-tune, you can label more data. You can programmatically look at your slices, analysis, and collaborate with your subject matter expert, either by heuristic, your existing knowledge base, all of the existing knowledge that you can get into your model, you can do it right here. And instead of labeling a lot of data on a mass data set, you can focus on the most impactful slices that is meaningful to your enterprise. is either more meaningful or very like sensitive or very crucial. So all of these can perform inside Snorkel Flow in the error analysis. You can also create custom annotation batch from these sets to collaborate with your subject matter expert or ask them to provide like some reasoning that you can then use to programmatically label your data. All of this can be supported inside Snorkel Flow. So I briefly touched to one point from 1 to 3. There's more to Snorkel Flow, but for the purpose of this talk, I'll focus on 4 and 5, where you fine-tune the model, or you can do parameter efficient or distillation. So there's a variety of like fine-tuning techniques. You can imagine full fine-tuning. Also, like we have parameter efficient, large language model, and also distillation. So full fine-tuning is like when you have original model size with new weights. So you essentially retrain the whole large language models. This is like an employee, a very senior, very great employee that dedicate all of their memories and efficiency doing one task. This is what full fine-tuning look like, where you probably need a lot of data, and it would take like hours to days to fine-tune this model with a lot of computation required. Another approach is parameter efficient. Specifically PEFT, we're talking here is LoRa, the LoRa technique. So these are very well supported by the Hugging Face and were initially introduced by the Microsoft team. So this is, you still have your original model size with your original weight. So these are still very large, but then these are kept as is. And what you're doing is you train additional new adapter parameter, which is much smaller and more efficient. This would take smaller or medium-sized data compared to the previous approach, and would only take like minutes to hours training. And this is also taking like low to medium computation, like GPU requirements. So you can imagine if your employees have some like spending the extra focus or like keeping a note in additional new parameters. So new parameters you can think of keeping extra notes that is specialized for this task. So this is a very efficient approach, especially in the realm of large language models. And finally, you can have distillation, where you fine-tune your much smaller model with new weights. And then this will take like minutes to hours with like small to medium data requirements, and also lower GPU requirements. So some example with smaller model, you can think of Distill BERT or T5, the Flan family. Yeah. So this is a quote from the CEO of Hugging Face. In a few years, training an AI model will be as common for companies as writing lines of code. I strongly agree with this statement, where AI training is very well supported by a majority of like cloud providers. Hugging Face, shout out to Hugging Face for very well supported package, transformer, and its utils for training data. So we integrate all of this technology inside Snorkel Flow. So you can see here, we integrated with PaLM 2, the model from Google. We have Llama from Hugging Face with Meta, and also from the OpenAI model from 3.5 and also GPT-3. And we also have, for more customization purposes, you also have access to built-in Jupyter notebooks that have access to OpenAI or Hugging Face advanced auto train. So Snorkel Flow model integrations, all of these support, all of the integration allows you to concentrate on constructing your differentiator, your data. In addition to all of the fine-tuning above, Snorkel Flow also support distilling to smaller, more cost-effective model. Smaller models are more cost-effective to train and deploy. With Snorkel Flow, you have a few options. You can train a smaller model using your current label data, or you can ingest your large language model's output. So this is a teacher approach where you have a large language model is teaching a smaller model, showing it's the target, and then you use it to train a smaller model. But why don't you use both? You can use both inside Snorkel Flow, and you can combine them using a very variety of techniques in order to reach production level. So this is one example use cases that we have with distillation, a case study. Initially with prompting with zero shot, you reach 489 F1. Then you do more prompting, more fine-tuning of your large language models with a very small limited label data. You are able to reach 68.4 F1 score. You can directly using these labels, using a teacher approach. This is a GPT provided labels. You can use it to fine-tune a smaller model, a specialized task. And this model is now able to directly get to around 75 F1 score. But why stop there? You can improve it further. Because now you have access to the predictions of your model, and you can see where it's erroring out. Instead of just leaving it as, you can analyze these errors inside Snorkel Flow. You can add either by correcting labeling functions, where you can programmatically label a targeted data slices. Like instead of label 1 or 2 manually, you can across a variety of data points across programmatically using the platform, using the concept of labeling function, where you can define heuristics, like your concern interest, and then we can fine-tune the model from there. And you can also ingest more domain expertise by collaborating label data from your subject matter experts. All of the concepts are, instead of labeling data randomly, manually, you can do it more effectively, more targeted using Snorkel Flow. This is more efficient, easier scaling, more tractable, and all of these meaning that you have more data in your error slices, and you can then use it to fine-tune your large language models. Instead of teaching it everything, you can teach it on the hard data where it previously failed. And this will make your model perform much better. And you can then use it for distillation purposes. So you can see here, finally, we can able to reach an 84 F1 score. You can read more details about these use cases in the Beyond Prompting, getting production quality large language models with Snorkel Flow. This is available on Snorkel blogs. In addition to the previous technology, Snorkel also have a lot of like cutting edge research. So this is one of the research that coming in this recent years, in 2023, very recently, called Distilling Step by Step, outperforming larger language models with less training data and smaller model size. This is authored by Cheng Yu and also co-authored by our co-founder, our CEO, Alex. You can see here, by using Distilling Step by Step, you have a higher task accuracy compared to large language models, and you're able to use it with less data compared to like task-specific models, while still outperforming both. So I'll discuss in more details. What does distilling step-by-step means? Instead of only on the previous approach, where you're only learning or you're only teaching the smaller models with the label, here, you're also extracting the rationales from large language models. And then you train a smaller model with both the rationale and the label. And the outcome, so you can see the example, instead of only outputting the club, we also outputting the rationale here, where the answer must be something that is used for golf. So by combining and fine-tuning on both the rationale and then also the label, a T5 model in the experiment was able to outperform the few-shot prompted palm model, which is 540 billion parameter. So to recap on fine-tuning. So whether it's full fine-tuning, parameter efficient, or distillation, sorry, I will redo this part. So fine-tuning recap. Whether through full fine-tuning, parameter efficient, or distillation, the overarching principle remains the same. Your data is your key. Collaborate with subject matter expert to harness the domain expertise, leveraging these external signals to create very high quality data, very representative data to represent your company's internal, and then use it to adapt your model. Snorkel offers a collaborative AI data development interface, and then use it. You can facilitate integration for fine-tuning large language models. So not just a model, not just fine-tuning your model. Then not is, sorry, I will redo this whole part. So for fine-tuning recap, whether you choose to approach it from a full fine-tuning approach, parameter efficient, or distillation, the overarching principle is the same. Your data is your key. You can improve your data, high quality, by collaborating with your subject matter expert, leveraging domain expertise, existing resources, existing material. You can leverage all these signals to create high quality data and then use it to adapt your model. Snorkel is a collaborative AI data development platform, where it allows you to collaborate between your subject matter expert, your data, and also the model piece. All of these combined with the error analysis loop, where you see the errors, you improve upon your existing models. See where it failed, improve it in those important slices. All of these can be done in Snorkel Flow. And these are the ones that power your deployments in a very production level models. How would the future look like? This is how I would envision the deployment future, where each company will have a domain-specific large language model for internal purposes. Either it's a finance GPT or a GPT company-specific, or even generic large language models. By utilizing existing large language models, also utilizing Snorkel Flow, where you can identify error slices, introducing corrective data, refine the dataset for higher quality. All of these approach, you can either fine-tune or distill the models. How I would envision the deployment is you have a fleet of LoRa adapters or a bunch of distilled smaller models. But the future would be for a lot of smaller models that tailor to specific task-oriented scenarios. So instead of one large models that do everything, you have a series of smaller models that is specialized for a very, very specific task. And this would allow your enterprise to be able to control this model, like the smaller models, much more efficiently, much better, much more targeted for each of the specific tasks. And this is how I envision the deployments in the future. We have a lot of like fine-tuning is key, using your data, very high quality data is key. And you have a fleet of deploy models, very task specific. And that is the end of my talk. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Hoang and appreciate it. Thank you so much.